Hi, my name is Ingrid YUZLY Matherin. I am a Atlanta and Los Angeles-based artist. My painting medium is an oil, and I'm also a muralist. And yeah, kind of want to focus on telling people the importance of dealing with like mental health, which is a couple of things I've had to deal with my mother, and also just my experience being a single mother, trying to navigate in an art world that it's actually kind of difficult to navigate, especially when you're a woman and a woman of color. So the body of my work that I do focus on a lot of work that deals with social activism, social justice work. I also tell stories and share stories and paint portraits of men and women, especially men and women of color. I think it's really important for me to showcase people who look like me and share untold stories. I'm also working on my solo show right now, which will probably be ready next year, which is focusing on me being a first generation Haitian American artist living in America. My family's actually from Haiti. For a long time, I painted anything, I painted portraits of anyone who inspired me. And I focused on technique and not really the story. And then after me going through my experience, I decided to focus on telling stories of people that matter, because I know it could create change. There's a bunch of artists doing a bunch of murals to turn Georgia blue. I happen to be one of those artists. I created 3 murals, and that alone showed me the importance of art and how art can create so much change collectively. And so from then, even with my story that I'm going to be doing for my solo show, I'm going to be touching like some heavy topics, but I am going to make it a little lighter with how I create my work. But those dialogues need to happen in order to create like policy changes. I feel like it's really important because a lot of people, they may not have experienced what I've experienced and don't know, what the community needs, and I think sharing stories where certain people are able to hear it, it could cause positive change. I'm just starting to build a relationship back up with my family. My mom did go through some mental health issues due to abuse she's dealt with in her marriage. And so I actually was in foster care when I was 14 to 18. I went to foster care. Luckily, I had an amazing foster parent who really helped cultivate me as an artist. She got my first art supplies for me, and I even remember her going to school and fighting with one of my teachers for painting over one of my murals I did at school. So she's probably my #1 fan, and she's like a second mother to me, my foster mom. And I'm truly thankful to her because she definitely changed my life for the better. She stood strong for something her and her brother saw, They saw the Jewish families being murdered, and she didn't believe in that at all, She believes in everyone should have equal rights, and her and her brother and her group, the White Rose Group, they wanted to stand strong and let the German people know what was going on in front of their eyes, because they probably weren't aware of what was happening. And it's so sad that they passed away, but a lot of like what they started still goes on today, even with protesting, even a couple I don't know, when the Black Lives Matter protest that was happening a couple years ago, it started with the same thing, people doing brochures and wheat paste going all over the city, and except that we're not being murdered. We are being murdered in a sense, but we're not being murdered for our freedom of speech. To me, words are everything, and it could truly make a difference. And they literally tried to nip what they were doing in the bud before it could get out. But luckily, because of what they did and what happened to them, it continued, So when I was actually doing my research, I wanted to, it took me a while to figure out what I was going to do. First of all, like it took me about a month to figure out, okay, how am I going to approach this project? You know, do I want to do something with just text? Do I want to do a portrait of her? It was also very difficult to find a portrait of her online. And I wanted, I had an, and then when the idea came to me, I was like, all right, I'm going to do a portrait of her face on. And I was on the internet for days until I found the right one, or the closest one I can get to paint her. But I really wanted to show her strength of her standing up for what she did, and that's why she looks the way that she does, standing very strong and stark. And she did not budge from what was going on, even if it meant losing her life. She knew what she was doing was right, and it was going to cause some positive impact, which it definitely did. And she's such a strong woman, you know, for that. Like, even for me, it's like, wow, would I be able to do that now? Would I be able to give up my life for something that matters so much, you know, especially being a parent? You know, would I be able to do that now to create a better tomorrow for my kids? I cried, like, reading a lot of her story, you know, reading like a lot of articles about what she went through. I watched a couple movies. Yeah, it's tough, you know, and even with what we're going through right now, I hope we're not going backward. Actually, to be honest, I was kind of going through a little creative drought, you know, and just, I was literally upset about not getting a lot of work in LA, and especially mural work, because I love painting murals, you know, and it's a little bit costly to do it yourself. But her story, and it helped remind me of my perspective of like what I'm doing with my work, you know, the importance of it, and not to be discouraged, and it doesn't matter like what's happening, and to just regroup, you know. So I really enjoyed painting it. I'm still, it looks done, but I'm still doing more to it. You know, I'm gonna keep painting until Monday, and be like, okay, I'm done, because I want it to be my best. I love Sophie just because of what she did and what she stood for. And it's amazing, you know, and I'm actually gonna do more research outside of, you know, stories about Black and Brown people, because I think it's important for me to share stories of everyone, you know. But it definitely did get me out of my creative block, and it was a reminder of what I'm doing. Why am I an artist in the first place? It's because of her story, you know, of people like her and so many other people, and future pieces I'll be doing. But people need to know about her. And even from sharing stuff on Instagram, my friends were like, wow, this is amazing. I love what you're doing. This is so outside of what you normally do. So many people are congratulating me for doing a piece on her, you know? And I'm glad I did it. And I want it to be one of my best pieces for the year. So yeah, so happy to be a part of the project. And I learned that I need to trust my creative process and take my time just to make it right. I kind of stopped everything I was doing. Like, I did a couple of gigs, I had to do it. And then I put my foot down, I was like, okay, this takes priority. This is important to me. I need to get this done. And I kind of immersed myself into the work for the last month, you know? And what I learned is I need to trust the creative process, take my time on my work, not to rush things, and to handle things one at a time in order for me to really give it my all, not to juggle too many things at once. It was so out of the box from what I normally do, but I'm glad I did it. Now I'm ready to paint. From painting this piece.